Welcome to Chamonix in France for, frankly, the best IFSC World Cup of the season. Half to do with the athletes here and half because of that view, the incredible mountains that surround this arena. My name is Matt Groom and I'm here in a commentary box with GB athlete Matthew Fall. Matt, first of all, welcome to the box, and I'm sorry you haven't made it through to the finals.
That's okay. I think there's still a fair way to go. The competition has just been so fierce this season, especially this one. I mean, it's like you're needing mid-high fives to make finals now. It's just, the standard's just gone up so much in the past couple of years now.
Well, talking about standards, we're about to watch a very special moment that took place last night, which was the world record once again being beaten. This is Kermel Katabin. Look at this, 5 seconds dead on the clock. A new world record, and Matthew closer to that under 5 second time.
It's absolutely insane. I mean, just look how straight his body line is going through this, and every single foot so precise. As soon as he lands, it just kicks straight off again. It's really cool to see. It's so clean. The way the beat has changed in the past few years, the way they've changed it up, like just to make that body line even straighter. It might be sub 5 tonight, maybe. It
could be. Of course, the world record is set in qualifiers, usually because it is against the clock, whereas in the finals, it's a race. But look at Kermel Katabin there as he celebrates.
So excited.
Team Indonesia, first of all, what a team they are. Right?
I know, dominant force right now. Although that said, the Chinese team coming through, they're hot on their heels now, in the men's and the women's. They're getting close. I think they've got to fight this evening to get those medals, you know.
That moment from Kermel as he comes down the wall, and I'm sure you've set PBs yourself. What does that moment feel like when you beat the clock like that?
It's hard to describe, honestly. It's just like this rush of emotion. I've been doing it in front of this crowd as well. Like even for the qualifiers, the crowd was immense. I think they were wanting that to happen, you know. And yeah, to come down, have that crowd cheering you, it's just the best feeling in the world, honestly. I mean, I was feeling it for 6.5. Like I can only imagine how it is for 5 dead.
Well, that was the world record, and these are our finalists here this evening, the women's and the men's. And we'll be explaining all the rules of speed climbing as we go along, if you're new to the sport. We'll be chatting through all the action, and you can see the times there. That's what it took to get into a final. And Matthew, I remember back in the day, a few years ago, when you know, 6.5 was enough for a finals. Now you really have to be under, don't you? 5.8, round about that mark.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is just the beta changes that have happened in the past couple of years. Like before, there was still a little bit of variation, and sort of it's that body line. That's really all it is. The body line has been brought so much more central, just sort of following that line up the middle, and yeah, I guess like seeing everyone copying each other, sort of learning off each other, and then when someone goes faster, that just pushes everyone else to go faster. So, you know, the Indonesian team breaking ahead has really, you know, forced everyone to really up their game.
Well, what we're looking at now is the way that our final takes place. It's a race, so 2 athletes against each other. The winner of that race progresses to the next round, and we continue that way until we get a final where the gold and silver medal is decided, and you can see that down on the right-hand side of your screen. And then the small final, that's between bronze and 4th place. And Matthew, I always think that's the harshest race we see tonight. Imagine either a podium place or nothing.
I know. I mean, at least if you're in the big final, you know you're guaranteed a medal. I think in that case, you can really push to just go for that time because you know you're safe in that medal slot. But yeah, small final must be rough because you're either on that podium or just so close.
So that is our crowd here tonight. And what a crowd it is in the Place du Mont Blanc. People talk about an educated climbing crowd a lot. People here know about climbing, don't they?
Oh, for sure. I mean, just look at the views around you, right? The mountains, it's an alpine city, you know? I mean, everyone here, or at least a large number of the people here, will be super knowledgeable about the climbing.
Absolutely. Well, that is our speed wall. And if you're new to speed climbing, well, the aim of the game is to get to the top of the wall and that stopping pad up there as quickly as possible. Now, the route hasn't changed in many years. And for me, that's part of the joy of it, because you wouldn't change a 100-meter race, would you? So why would you change your speed?
No, exactly. I think it's really interesting to see that although the route hasn't changed, the way people have done it has been changing through the times. And I think we're just about to get going with the women's finals here.
We are indeed. So Li Juan Deng is up versus Andrea Rojas. Li Juan Deng, the winner from Villars, so possibly the favourite coming into tonight's competition. And there she is on the screen now.
Absolutely, she clocked a blistering time in the qualifiers. It'll be interesting to see how far she goes today. Yeah,
it was incredibly impressive from her. You can see chalking up the feet as well as the hands, and Matt will talk about that when she comes down, perhaps, because it's something we don't often see in lead and boulder. So here we go. The athletes will approach the wall, 2 hands on, 1 foot on the starting pad, 1 on the wall as we begin the first race. Both athletes off clean, and it is Li Juan Deng at the moment slightly ahead, about a body length as she pulls away now. Just the top to come. She stops the clock at 6.88. Li Juan Deng through and easy.
Absolutely. It looked like she was even holding back a little bit there, but to still be clocking sub-7 in pretty chilled out fashion, it's quite incredible to see.
Looking at her composure there, how much of that is important to speed climbers? Because you guys seem to stay in your zone quite often.
I think it really depends climber to climber. I mean, clearly for Li Juan there, the way for her is to stay super calm, super focused. I think when you're looking at some other climbers, say Patricia Hujiak coming out, it'll be really interesting to see sort of the comparison there. In the way that they set up and get themselves psyched up is really down to personal preference.
And I know that behind that twitching curtain over there, they're waiting. Are there any mind games that go on in that backstage area?
I don't think people will be psyching each other out. I think we're too busy, trying to get ourselves psyched up.
Yeah, well, there is Aurelia Saracen versus Nariul Ikuma from that Team Indonesia we talked about before, who has such... I mean, look, we're talking Team China and Team Indonesia at the moment, the dominant forces.
I'd say so. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, before you'd think it was just Indonesia, but then as soon as China comes in, like I said, they're hot on their heels.
So Neuer is up next on the right. There she is, Neuer Ikma, and then Aurelia Saracen from France in front of her home crowd, getting a lot of support.
Pretty close PBs there as well.
Yeah, could be a tight race. Wait for the buzzers, and they're both off clean, but it is Neuer who's off better at the moment, about half a body length away, but Aurelia is coming back into the slip up high, means Neuer will finish the race cleanly. A slip like that, Matthew, is so frustrating, isn't it?
I know, especially in a race like this when it's, that's one slip and you're out. That's it, there's no coming back from that.
It's why I often think that you speed climbers have it the toughest, to be honest, because, as you said, one slip, one full start, that is it for your finals. You're done.
Yeah, it's such an unforgiving discipline for sure.
Well, this was a replay of what we just saw. Aurelia was doing well, keeping in touch until the slip. You can see it coming up there. It is that right foot.
It's the right foot missed, yeah.
And Matthew, what will that be, that slip? I mean, what will cause something like that?
Sometimes it's hard to say. You can genuinely just get unlucky, but a lot of the times you could be missing something slightly lower down. Say if your body line's slightly off, a couple of moves below, then that can just send your body line way off.
So we have another race. This is the thing, you blink and you miss it here in speed coming.
Now watch for Patricia's start here. Watch how she psychs herself up.
So this is Patricia Hujiak versus Dezak Madre from Indonesia. Patricia is one of those athletes she's been on the scene for a long time, so experienced.
Yeah, proper character out there as well. Always shows her emotion.
So Patricia on the right, Dezak Madre on the left. And you can see both athletes with their eyes shut, keeping in the zone. Now approach the wall, and you can hear the audience drop into silence as the athletes need to focus. Ready? Both off clean, and Patricia at the moment is ahead, but Dezak is coming back at her in this final part. Could be anyone's. Patricia slightly behind now, and it is Dezak Madre who stops the clock. 7.08.
That top section with Dezak was blistering. Like, she was pretty steady through the start, but just properly accelerated through that top section there.
When you're doing a race like this, do you adjust your speed compared to the other person, or do you try to stick within your own game plan?
I think it depends who you're racing. If you're racing someone who you know's about the same speed as you, then you're just going to go flat out, because you know you have to put your absolute best effort on. But for a race when you're racing someone who's maybe is not quite at the same level as you, who's maybe a couple of tenths of seconds behind you, then you'll probably play it a little bit safer, because obviously you don't want to be going full pelt, because then the chance of you making a mistake is just that much higher.
So Guizhan Xie comes out for China, and she faces off against Jiming Zhong. And again, we see this Chinese team, such depth to their squad. They were away for a while. A lot of that was due to COVID restrictions, and they are back, and boy, are they back.
Back in force.
They are indeed. 7.05 is Guizhan Xie's PB, and then Jiming Zhong 7.39. So not a lot in it between these two athletes.
Nah, not at all, but that might be enough for Guizhan to think she can just hold it off a little bit, but I guess we'll find out.
That is the starting pad, that registered when the athletes go, and of course full starts, and they're off clean. And it is Guizhan Xie who pulls away first. Now whole body length as she gets to the top, makes the jump, but that looked comfortable for her all the way.
That was a good clean run. Yeah, I don't think she looked too troubled in that at all, really.
Talk to me about that jump at the top, Matthew, because look, I'm lucky enough to have tried speed climbing a few times, and the jump at the top is far. That is a big jump.
It's really big, yeah, and a lot of the times in the closest races now, that's the moment that defines it. It's how quickly you can slap that top pad going from those last two holds. Like, when you're looking at races that are separated by hundreds of seconds, as we saw in some of the competitions in some of the rounds in Vila, it was literally just a case of who hits the pad first.
Yeah,
you know?
it's literally
I mean, as it
one
always
in the
is,
air.
but
Yeah, well, we saw that jump there on screen. Right, so we move on to the next round. Rajya Sabia versus Victoria Andrea. Up next, Team Indonesia again on the left-hand side.
Victoria Rajya with her home crowd.
Yeah, you can hear.
She's enjoying that.
Victoria, there she is. You can hear the support she is getting here in Chamonix. It's great. Earlier today, we had the lead qualifications, lead semi-finals taking place tomorrow. And of course, this is the speed finals here tonight. So Rajya on the left of your screen, Victoria on the right. Onto the timing pad, and the athletes prepare in the spotlight. Both off well. Victoria is ahead at the moment, but now Rajya starts to pull back, and it looks like she's going to take it if she can keep it clean, which she does. 7.05 for her.
Beautiful run there. It's interesting to see the slight differences in the start from then. Rajya's foot is that little bit further over to the left, which just makes that body line slightly straighter through the start. So even if it doesn't like she was pulling that as far, she's got less distance to move.
Well, this is the start you were talking about.
Here we are, yeah.
Yeah, you can see the way she did that.
And then the way she just accelerates through this top section here. Got
Never looking at her feet, of course, and you guys don't, do you?
No, you need to have that absolutely dialed, you know. And those footholds, they're not big. I mean, by a league climber standard they are, obviously, but, you know, they're only like 10 centimeters wide.
Well, they're not big when you're trying to run up.
No, not at all. Relying so much on muscle memory there.
Exactly. So Natalia Kluska comes out onto the stage, and she is versus... she's meant to be versus Beatrice Colli, but we might have had a... Sorry, Natalia Kluska with Capucine Biglioni. There we go. Got there eventually. Now, Natalia is a legend already in this sport, isn't she?
She's been in this game for a long time now, and she's put some excellent times up on the board in no time.
So Natalia is on the left, Capucine on the right. I love the different styles between these two. Natalia is quite twitchy at the beginning, and Capucine is so still.
Stock still, yeah.
So you can hear Natalia still moving around on that starting position. Now she launches, but a bit of a delay from Natalia Kluska. She's going to have some work here. Capucine Biglioni will take this, but there's a huge slip from her on the top section. Natalia Kluska comes away with the victory. Matthew, I thought it was all Capucine's then, but that
was her race to lose. She was looking so good up through that start, and then she just kept it going through the middle. But again, that's just how unforgiving this sport is, you know?
So this was the start, and Natalia just had a bit of a delay on that beginning.
Yeah, that first skip, I just don't think she quite got the body position right. But again, she managed to keep her cool, and I don't even really know what went wrong there for Capucine. I think it was just the body just slightly flew out the wrong way.
Yeah, it seemed to sort of sink into that right foot and have trouble recovering from it. You're on the TV. Okay, now this will be our final race, and we'll explain why in a second. But it's Alexandra Kluska, Natalia's sister, versus Beatrice Colli. So again, two sisters, two teammates.
Sisters.
Yeah, exactly. They've just competed. And Beatrice Colli has really come on recently. She's been doing so well in the youth scene, and then it's great to see her in finals on the senior circuit.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be an exciting one to watch this race.
So Beatrice on the right, Alexandra Kluska on the left.
It's a real difference in PBs, but anything can happen on this one.
Yes, Beatrice certainly the underdog in this race, but any slip. Both women off clean, and Beatrice is ahead, but now Alexandra Kluska starts to accelerate. You can see that power as she jumps for the top, and 6.96 for her.
Excellent race there, showing her class, showing her experience there.
And Beatrice will always be disappointed, and she is disappointed as she comes down. Very expressive. So yeah, Natalia Kluska walks away with that victory.
Excellent effort from Beatrice there. It looked like a pretty clean run as well.
Yeah, it does. She seems to be getting better and better at every competition. And she is one of those athletes who is hard on herself. I think it almost gets her going a bit.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I think speak like any single run you do, you think, oh, I could just do that a little bit better, you know?
Now, Neuer was meant to be facing off against her opponent, but she is out. So Neuer goes forward in the competition, and that's why we're having this little pause in proceedings. We have one race less here. And Matthew, I mean, looking at that shot, I mean, that's Mont Blanc. We believe it. It's pretty special, isn't it?
It's a beautiful place to compete, I think, yeah. Just being able to travel out here and see such beautiful places and then compete against such like-minded people, it's, yeah, living the dream.
Some slips from earlier on in our competition with Sarison. Big slip from her, but look at that style from the Team Indonesia there.
It's just so explosive, like all that power through the legs. They're just driving hard through that top section now.
South Korea, it was wonderful to travel to South Korea and watch them in their home country compete. So it's good to have them back on the scene.
Oh, Vichara was smiling.
Yeah, I think she was enjoying the home crowd then. And this explosive start, and she was behind at this stage in the race and then had to find something, but this slip cost her, didn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't even really a slip, it was just body position just went out the way. Yeah, it's weird how that happens. I think sometimes you just get caught up in the moment, you don't even know what you're doing wrong. I had that in certainly one of my qualifiers this morning. Yesterday, of course. Well, you don't even slip. You're just not quite in the right position, and then it's really hard to adjust because you're so used to being in the right position. Then, like, if your muscle memory's not ready for that, then it just sends you off.
Talking about training, how often do you guys train, and what kind of things are you doing in training? I know that's a big question, but give me a general overview.
Yeah, so I mean, it really varies athlete to athlete. Mine's quite different, I think, from a lot of the other athletes on the scene because I'm still a full-time student and I have pretty poor access to a wall during term time. So for me, it's a lot of strength and conditioning work, a lot of gym stuff, a lot of power work, really developing that explosive power through the legs and also through the arms, of course. And then it's converting that into good times on the wall when you're in the holidays. But if you have full access to a speed wall, then you could be on this wall up to 6 days a week, you know.
Well, we are just waiting now for the men's first race as we get another look at that wonderful mountain scenery with the glacier cascading down. Sunset just starting to creep into the mountains. Wonderful to see here today. If you're just joining us, welcome to Chamonix for the speed finals. The fastest athletes in the world competing against each other, and it's time for the men to face off. World record holder Kemal Katabin will be up first versus Alfian Mohammed in our first race. And Matthew, looking at that list of athletes, huge names in there, aren't there?
It's incredible. It's a list of, you know, the fastest athletes in the world here. It's going to be an exciting couple of races we've got coming up.
And we're just looking at another thing there. If you're just joining us, my name is Matt Groom, and I'm here with Matthew Fall in the commentary box, GB speed climber, and my expert analysizer, if that's a word, which it's not, here in the commentary box.
No, I like that, analysizer.
Yeah, it's a good word. I'm going to stick with it for now. Kemal Katabin is out, current world record holder. He smashed it last night in Chamonix. 5 seconds dead is the new record. And he'll be facing off against his teammate, Alfian Mohammed Fajria.
He'll be used to the pressure now. He's been the favourite for pretty much the whole season.
He's looking very relaxed there on the left-hand side of your screen, and you can see the PB, which is also a world record of 5 seconds. And we'll talk about that world record in a bit, but first of all, let's turn our attention to this race, because you never know, we might be able to see another world record. Can we get sub 5 here? I might be overhyping it, but I don't care. Here we go. Well, they are off, and it's actually Alfian who has a better start. Kemal slips, he's having to accelerate. Look at that speed, but he's not going to take it. Alfian stopping the clock, and Kemal Katabin just, I mean, insane speed in that final section.
It just goes to show, you know, you can get a world record in qualification, but one slip in finals, and that's it. That's game over. But I mean, as consolation prizes go, a world record's not bad.
It is. Now look, this was the slip he had. So huge acceleration, then kicking, but look at the performance he put in to try to catch up. Alfian was not going to be caught.
That section was excellent, but he's just too much of a gap to close at that point.
And a 5.65 is a very quick time in a final as well, especially when you're winning.
Absolutely.
Right, well, first race is done. Next up, Vedrik Leonardo, who is the old world record holder. How much would he love to get that back? Versus Zinal Aparian, his teammate again.
There you go, just getting their pads sorted, finding that start position that suits them best.
Well, tell me about this, because you can adjust that starting pad, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, different athletes will have different preferences. It'll stay the same for each athlete, obviously, between rounds. But different sizes, different start methods as well. Yeah, it all adjust where you're going to put that starting pad.
Zinal Aparian on the right, Vedrik Leonardo on the left. 5.2 being the PB and an all world record, which is insane to think about. So here we go. Oh, and it's a full start from Zinal. So, Matthew, reaction times, it's all about that, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at that number there, he went after the third beep, but you've got to be 0.1 seconds after that third beep, otherwise it's considered a false start, because that's deemed the minimum human reaction time, I guess. And I guess for that, if he knew he'd have to go at his absolute fastest, if not faster than he's ever done before, to have a chance in that race. So I guess that just got the better of him that time.
Yeah, he does. Full start, comes down, he won't get to race again. And we talked about how harsh this sport is. That's such a good example of that.
Absolutely. Just got one chance and that's it.
So Jinbao Long comes out versus Noah Baracchi.
Now keep an eye out for Noah Baracchi's start, because it is very different from a lot of these other athletes out here.
So when you say different, most of them are doing the Tomoa start?
Yeah, that's right. That's the start that seems to have the, sort of the best hip placement, I guess, throughout the wall, keep it super central. But Noah Baracchi just so powerful that he can make, well, you'll see his start in a minute. It's something to behold.
Well, keep an eye out for that. Jinbao Long on the left, Noah Baracchi on the right. Team USA versus China. That's the starting foothold, the athletes with the right foot on that. No full start this time. Noah Baracchi, huge leap to the left for that start, and he's going to win this if he can keep in touch, but no! Jinbao Long takes victory, 5.33. So Noah's leap to the left.
Yes.
Different beta going on, and similar to Martin Dienski.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. I think a lot of the bigger athletes, sort of looking at Noah's wingspan, it's absolutely huge. And he's just got so much power that he can make that work. And I think for the Tomoa skip as well, it often really favors the slightly smaller athlete, because if you look, it's quite a bunch position, right? And I guess I am sure Noah would have tried it when it came out, and he just didn't quite get on with it. So went back to the beater, and it still seems to be working pretty well, and then making World Cup finals with that.
You're a big man. Which method do you use?
I use the Tomoa skip, but I start slightly differently. I start slightly further out. It's almost like the old Reza. It's sort of like a cross between the Reza and Tomoa, I suppose. Alexander Shikov promoted it. I don't know. I think for next season I might try and get the Tomoa sorted though.
Okay, you're going to change it up.
Yeah. It just so many people are doing it now. It's got to be the fastest way, I reckon.
So Jinbao Long versus Amir Maritov of Kazakhstan.
Jinbao fresh off his victory in Velo last week.
Yeah, so having that gold medal, will it give him some confidence here this evening? You can hear it from my microphone on the wall. I'm whispering because it's dropped so quiet here in the stadium. Both athletes clean, and Jinbao Long shows his quality. He's going to take this, and he does. 5.32.
Excellent race, just exploding through that start. And the Chinese team seem to have a slightly different top sequence as well. I think it was those guys that developed it, and then a lot of the Team Texas and US athletes as well sort of got onto it. It seems to be working for them. I haven't tried it. It looks absolutely insane.
So which section are you talking about here?
The top section here. So just look at the way he comes through here, matching in on that hold, and then actually keeping quite far to the left, and then slapping the pad with the right hand.
So that's was his top section.
Yeah.
Good race from him. While we wait for our next. Two athletes are out onto our stage. Next race is up already. It's Raju there. Raju Umasa versus Liang Zhang. Zhang. So Liang on the left of your screen, Raju on the right. Look at those PBs. Pretty impressive stuff from Liang Zhang.
And we over those. It's quite a difference between them. So.
Ready?
So Liang on paper the favourite. Let's see if he can take this. And it is a good start. Raju is in touch though, but it's Liang all the way to the top and a 5.234. Possibly the fastest time of this evening. And a great performance from him.
He was not taking his time up there. I think he probably felt Rio in his peripheral vision there and just that sort of egged him on to really push you that top section.
Yeah, he was in touch all the way. This man's expression does not tend to change until he wins a gold medal, and then the smile breaks out. He is so focused throughout the competition. Look at that performance.
Just a slight dab in the middle there from Rio. I think that's what slowed him down there just at the top section. Because obviously if you lose your momentum in the middle, then that carries through all the way up, right?
It's a bit like, you know, in a race, in a car race, if you enter a corner wrong and you come out of it, you'll be slower coming out of that corner. It's similar in speed.
Exactly, exactly.
So Eric Neuer versus John Brozler.
This is going to be an exciting race. Two very big characters on the scene.
They both are real personalities here. There is John as he gets himself ready. And Eric Neuer on the right, a hero in Spain is that man. Trains at Chris Sharma's gym in Barcelona a lot. Good facility for him. And as Matthew was saying earlier, facilities are so important for speed climbers and just to get as good as they can get.
Absolutely.
So we wait for the buzzers now. John versus Eric.
Ready?
Good start from both men, and it is Eric Neuer, but now John Brozler accelerates. Eric Neuer slips, but John at the top has a moment, and Eric Neuer 5.92. What a comeback that was from Eric Neuer.
Oh, John is not happy with that.
I mean, that shows in speed climbing, you have to keep going. You can't stop, you can't think you might have lost because anything could go wrong.
Absolutely, you can't give up. You slip, you reset, you keep going as fast as you can and just hope that the other person does the same.
John was so quick throughout this race, but Eric does not give up. Look at the power. That was Eric's slip. He's miles out of touch by this point. And then as we come to the top.
Oh, just a little bit too far right on that foothold.
And Eric, look at this, celebration, and then immediately switched modes and got focus again. And John with his head in his hands. Drama here in Chamonix. Next up, Long Cao from China again, and Ludovico Fossali, the Olympian, of course, on the right-hand side. Ludovico, he'll understand about pressure, won't he, after that Olympics performance?
Oh, for sure, for sure. He'll be accustomed to this by now. Watch out for his start as well, because again, he's one of the taller athletes, so he'll be doing something slightly different. He sort of sticks to the reza, but slightly modified. I don't know anyone else who does it other than him, so he makes it work.
So Ludovico with his unique beater looks up at the mountains and then down, and Long is just fully focused down on the ground.
Meditating.
Meditating, yeah, on the stage. So we are ready for a penultimate race here for the men's first round. Ludovico is off to a better start, but then hesitates, and Long powers ahead through the top section, pauses at the top and statically gets the top.
That's okay. I think if Ludovico might have wanted to keep going with that, like his start, I don't really know what went wrong there. He normally doesn't use that really far left-hand hold. I think we'll see it in a second here on the replay.
Incredible
He must have just stumbled at the start there, and then...
So let's see this again.
Yeah, watch that. He just stumbles through the start.
So it's the method out left.
He wouldn't normally be using that left-hand hold. I think his foot must have just been slightly off, and then he must have needed to hold that to hold himself onto the wall. I don't think he was expecting that. So, and then another wee stumble here, I think.
Yeah, there was a left just as camera cut away. And Long had to really sort himself out on the top there.
Yeah. I don't really know what happened there. I think he was just had to catch himself for a second.
He went for the jump and kind of paused. Well, yet another legend comes out onto our stage. Because it's Reza Aliposhina Zandifar versus Aspia Aspa. And tell me a bit about Reza, because you must have looked up to that man for a while, I would imagine.
Reza was the one who got me into speed climbing. Honestly, he's such a legend of the scene. He's just such a character. I mean, you'll have seen his Instagram posts.
Yeah, he's terrifying in his warm-ups. It's the only way to describe him. So Reza, there he is on the left. Good to see him back in the finals as well.
Absolutely. He's really upped his game since the Indonesian takeover almost.
Exactly. So let's see if Reza can capture some of the magic here. And Aspa on the right. Both off clean. Aspa is behind at the moment. Reza is ahead. Can Reza? But now a little slip from Reza. That's about as close as it gets. Aspa walks away, but Reza looked like he had that.
He was looking so good through that start. Oh, he is not happy.
Yeah, he is. You can imagine what it's like for an athlete who gives everything to it. Obviously,
goodness me,
the emotion getting the better of him there.
He was running so smooth through that start, and then
a big hug.
Just stumbled through that top section. Oh,
yeah.
I was sure he had that.
Yeah, me too, all the way. And the athletes
did this start.
Give each other a big hug after that finals. It's just a pure emotion of it. Let's see where it went wrong there, perhaps.
It's just a couple of stumbles. I don't think he slipped or anything. It's just, it would have been, again, just that body position just slightly off, and then that throws you mentally. It really does. Oh, look at that emotion there.
I mean, when you're training as hard as those guys are, you can see that wasn't a disrespect thing. That was just a release of everything.
Absolutely. Reza showing his emotions as per.
Looking a bit like a superhero there as he goes down to the ground.
He always does.
He does, that's very true. Well, we'll see the confirmation of the results in a little bit. But what a performance there from all of our athletes. Well, that is our first round done. And we will move on to the second round in a couple of minutes and back to the women. So, Matthew, we have had the first round and some exciting races in there.
Yeah, there's been some slips.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the people who were going through are not the people I'd have expected. No, it's not the favourites. I think pretty consistent on the women's side, but there were some big upsets on that men's side, definitely. Well, I think Kiramal being the #1 upset there.
Yeah, the world record holder is out, but that is the women's next round, the quarter-final. As you can see how it works now, it's a bit like a football tournament, rugby tournament, whatever you like. The winner progresses, the loser sadly gets nothing at this stage. And they will go towards the final and the small final later on this evening. So some quick times there as well. Joining us, welcome to Chamonix, France. My name is Matt Groom and I'm here in the commentary box with Matthew Fall from Team GB. And we have had the first round of the men and women's competition, and we are seconds away from the women's round. The curtain twitching.
I think we are in for a treat. I think some of the women were holding back in that first race. I think see some more sub-7 times hopefully here. So hope some nice clean runs as well.
And we wait now, watching expectantly on that, the athletes behind it. And nice to see some younger climbers in the audience, getting some inspiration from the athletes on stage. And Matthew, if you're watching this thinking, I want to try speed climbing, how can you try speed climbing?
Find a wall that has a speed wall. It's as simple as that, you know. There'll just be an auto belay line with the holds up. It's pretty recognizable. Just go up and give it a go. You've got to climb it slow to learn how to climb it fast. I'd recommend, you know, you do it a good few times at a slow pace just to get a feel for the holds, a feel for the moves. And then as soon as you start developing that muscle memory, then you can try and push it a little bit faster. And yeah, you just go from there. If you get hooked, then you get hooked.
Well, that's the thing, getting hooked, because I think any sport that has a clock involved, watching yourself improve second by second, nanosecond, microsecond, whatever it is a bit addictive, isn't it?
That's the thing that gets it for me, the measurability of it. Like, there's no ambiguity there. You know, you've got a number on your head that's telling you exactly how well you're doing. Makes it really easy to compare yourself to other athletes as well. You know, if in leaderboard or someone does a certain grade, you can be like, right, I haven't tried that route. I don't know what the style is. I don't know how I'd fare on it. But for this, you know, if you say, I run 6'4", you know what 6'4" is, you know?
Well, here we go. The first women are out for the second round. Lee Juan Deng versus Neuer from Indonesia. It's going to be an interesting race here. Neuer looking very relaxed out on stage. It's so interesting to me, the differences. Some athletes just look on the verge of a sort of aggressive mental breakdown, and others are just so chilled out.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone's got their own little routines. You'll see them do the exact same thing every time.
So Lee Juan Deng on the left, Neuer on the right. And both off clean. It is the Chinese athlete slightly ahead at the moment, about half a body length. Lee Juan jumps and stops the clock.
6:76, what a time. And here she comes down, so chill.
Again, she just faces the wall, and you're right. It's the same procedure in every race they do, isn't it? And how important is that?
Oh, it's everything. I mean, at this level, the mental game is probably more important than the physical. Like, you need to be ready to give your absolute all for, you know, 5, 6, 7 seconds on that wall. And, you know, these guys will all have been developing their mental routines for, you know, months, years, even leading up to this competition, and refining it over those times, just finding what works for them. And, yeah, they'll just be so dialed in on that now. Like, it's just second nature.
Well, next race is up. Desak Madre versus Wujian Xie from China. Again, the Indonesian athlete versus the Chinese athlete. And again, it's such a battle of nationalities, this one, because both countries are producing some stunning speed climbers at the moment.
Absolutely. So it's the two dominant forces in the speed climbing world right now.
The sun is set here in Chamonix. There's a nice breeze in the stadium. It's cool temps, which is good for the athletes.
Absolutely. Wall will be sticky, hopefully.
So, Desak on the left, Wujian on the right.
Ready?
Off clean from both athletes, and both neck and neck. Is really too close to call at the moment. This is going to be a photo finish in the leap, and it is. 6.9 from Desak Madre. She goes forward, and I mean, that was
relieved on that one.
Yeah, it was close all the way.
Absolutely, neck and neck through there.
So Desak takes victory, and she progresses, and still very calm on stage. And look at them, there was hardly anything in it.
Nah, coming through that middle, pretty much neck and neck, and then just pulling through this top section.
Yeah, Madre ahead at this point, but really very close. Fingertips on
that one was all to play for.
It really was. Just fingertips on there. And the disappointment in her face there as she ends her competition. Well, two more races. Rajya Sabia and Natalia Kluska. Natalia, part of Team Poland, and she's always really happy to talk as well on camera, is Natalia Kluska, which is nice, very keen on promoting the sport, and I think that's important because speed climbing is up and coming, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think in some countries more than others, it's still sort of that niche within the niche. But I think in countries like Poland and Indonesia, having these sort of role models there must be so beneficial for the sport.
And of course, as an Olympic discipline, it will have its own medal in Paris 2024, rather than being combined with lead and boulder as it was before, and it just allows these athletes to really show off their discipline to the best of their abilities. So, Natalia Kluska versus Rajya Sabia. And it is Natalia Kluska at the moment. Now Rajya turns on the power as she nears the top. It's going to be close, this one. And it is Rajya who stops the clock first. And that meant a lot to her.
There's the emotion coming out there. I think that it's the way the Indonesian team have tackled that top section. That's the thing that's really standing out for me. Like, they're looking neck and neck through that start section. Like, you know, both of them had that absolutely dialed, but just seeing how well she pulls ahead. I don't know if that's a fitness thing, if she's able to keep that power up just for that little bit longer, if she's just got that got that momentum cleaned up better, but
yeah, Natalia was clean all the way through, and it wasn't a lot in it. I mean,
no, that looked like that was close to PB from both of them as well. I don't know if that was beating PB on there. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have a look at that in a sec.
Yeah.
That is our audience. Massive crowd here in the stadium. Lovely to see for speed. So Alexandra Kluska versus Neuer from China. Now Di, remember, got through as a bye because her opponent was injured. So this is her first race here this evening. And will that be an advantage to her, or will she just feel a bit left out of it? Will she not be warmed up, perhaps?
I don't know. I don't think the warm-up's going to be the issue. I think maybe those competition nerves from getting that first run out of the way, that might be a slight issue. But I mean, these athletes are so well conditioned this season to that. I don't think it'd be too big an issue. But I mean, we'll find out, won't we?
We will. We're seconds away. 7 seconds, in fact, from finding out. And Alexandra is off good, but look at Neuer. Explosive start from her, but Alexandra is fighting her all the way, and she might win it, and she does.
Oh my goodness,
6.7.
what a time.
Unbelievable.
That is a massive personal best from her.
Alexandra really had to fight there and didn't give up all the way through.
Pulled out all the stops through that. That was a good race to see.
That was wonderful stuff there, because she just kept in touch. She had to battle, and she had to find another gear. There, she's behind.
She just fought ahead through that top section, just found something from somewhere. Oh, that's what it means to her there.
What a race that was. Brilliant. Well, Chamonix living up to its reputation as one of the jewels of the IFSC season. And look at that shot as we sneak a look backstage into the isolation area. And the athletes will be back there. That is the view that we get, and this is the result. So we progress towards that final and small final. These athletes will get a chance to climb again. It just depends where they end up. So that's what we have to come. A couple of races left for the women and the men's coming up next. So we wait for our next round. That's some of the skyline of Chamonix, if you can call it that. It is a beautiful place, this little town. Bit of a highway, of course, near the tunnel under Mont Blanc into Italy. Switzerland's about an hour away, if that, by drive, so right on the edge of the French border, and that is our view. I mean, looking at that, I mean, this is my hometown. I know the mountains here, I know the climbs, but as a climber to come here as well, to have that as a backdrop and know how much there is up there, that's special.
Oh, it's incredible. I mean, this is my first time in Chamonix here, and just coming out to see this wall and that view was just, it was magical, it really was.
So we are back for the next round of the men's speed competition here. We've just had the women's second round. Now it's time for the men's second round. Fastest athletes on earth competing head-to-head up a 15-meter speed wall, 5 degrees overhanging, and this is a world record standard wall, remember, so there is a potential for world records to be beaten here tonight. Let's watch that last race again, shall we? Because that was pretty special. Let's see a replay of it. So, keep an eye on Alexandra because she was behind through this first section.
Yeah, Dini seemed to get that slightly better start, and then through the middle she really pulled through, but then it was just here when Alexandra just she switched into a second gear. It's absolutely powerful through that top, and like I said, that was a personal best by quite a long way. That must have been quite a special one for her.
Yeah, she was on a ragged edge there. It wasn't the cleanest of runs. You could see the foot almost skipping off some of those holes.
But it was just that raw power, the adrenaline coursing through at that point. That one meant a lot.
Yeah, so that is the next round for the men. First round's done, quarterfinal now.
And with the world record holder out of the running on this one, it's all to play for now, really, for the men.
And the Federic Leonardo is up next, and he was the record holder. And Fadji as well is against him. So, here we go, next round for the men. And how much would Federic love to get that record back here tonight?
Oh, I think he's gunning for it. I think if we see him in the big final, he's gonna give it his absolute all. Of course, he has to get there first.
Exactly, and his teammate is standing in the way. Alfie Mohammed on the left, Vedric Leonardo on the right. Look at those PBs, very close from both men. We are going to Jakarta soon for the next Speed World Cup. Can't wait for that. Get to see why the Indonesians are as fast as they are. Hopefully pick up some tips. Here we go, we wait for the buzzers. Both off neck and neck at the moment. Vedric, though, is slightly ahead as we approach the top, and it is his race. 5.314 for Vedric.
What a tight one there. That was a tricky one to call. I mean, both of them absolutely exploding out through that start. They've got that Tomoa skip absolutely nailed. That first move through that hole, they just fly through it. They fly through it. I've got something to learn from them.
How much are you thinking during these races, or do you just switch it off?
You do all the thinking before the race. You do all the thinking in the visualization as you get out onto the wall, as you're setting up, getting ready to go. But as soon as you're on, those thoughts turn off. You don't have time to think, really. It's just relying on muscle memory and all the hours of training that you've put in to get to this moment.
That was a good race there. So Vedric will continue knocking out his teammate in the process. Disappointment from him. Audience getting into the DJ's music there. Right, Jin Bao Long versus Jin Guao Long. Again, two teammates up against each other.
I wonder how many times these guys have raced each other in training.
I was going to ask you, does it help or hinder you in this situation?
I don't know.
Well, you're one of the only GB speed climbers, certainly at your level. I mean, does it frustrate you not having other people pushing you as much?
I think in terms of experience of getting the chance to race people next to you, it's a totally different experience when you've got that person in the peripheral vision. I think for me it really eggs me on, but I don't know if they'll be just so familiar with this now, it doesn't make a difference. But
well, we'll find out. So here we go, Jin Bao versus Jin Guao. Oh, and Jin Guao off to a better start, but now Jin Bao's coming at him, and look at that overtake from him, 5.078. Well, that would have been a world record, but I don't think it isn't because we're 5 seconds dead, but I mean, that shows how fast that is from Jin Bao. Wow.
I think another world record contender has just entered.
I think it has. Kelmel Katabin, watch your back, mate, because someone is coming for you. That, I mean, if yesterday hadn't happened, that would have been the record. Incredible. And again, he was behind at this point, and then suddenly about here, he just puts his foot down, and he's gone.
Yeah, I think if you look at Jin Guo on the right there, when he went through to that middle move, his left hand just released a little bit too early, and that's what slowed him right down through the middle, and that allowed Jin Bao to push ahead there, but incredible run from Jin Bao.
That really was. Eric Neuer is up next versus Lau Kao. So the Spaniard versus Team China. The moon hanging above Mont Blanc as our athletes get ready, prepared for this next race. And you can hear, I hope, in the background, the crowd getting into this. Packed throughout the arena here as we watch our athletes. Eric Neuer celebrated. He had a very close race in his last race. Nearly lost it, kept in touch. Can he produce the same performance here now? Well, he's off to a fast start, but now Zhang, oh, and a big slip, which means Eric Neuer will progress through. Eric Neuer, and watch the reaction from him. Again, a little celebration and then straight into his zone.
Back into the game phase.
Well, we have our first fall of the final here tonight. Of course, if an athlete falls, that is it for them.
Yeah, there's no getting back on then. Eric will have noticed that, he'll have seen that fall. So then as soon as that happens, he knows he can just slow it down slightly, but you don't want to slow it down too quickly, obviously, because then you might fall off yourself, right? But no, you knew you could ease up just a little bit there.
Well, let's let Liang's fall here. So he was all good to this stage, and then that's where it went wrong for him.
Yeah.
Immediate disappointment, but it happens, doesn't it?
It does, it does. It's, again, just how unforgiving this sport is. He didn't even really slip there either. There was nothing that seemed to go too wrong. It would have been, again, just that body just coming out and not able to hold it back in.
So next two athletes are out. Long Kao versus So here we go for our next race. Aspa versus Long Kao. The athletes will take a second to prepare themselves here. They do get that time. And they're allowed 2 hands on the wall, 1 foot on the wall, and 1 on the starting pad. Chalking up, of course, it helps to improve the grip between the athlete's skin. Friction is key in all types of climbing, speed included. Long Cow's PB 5.16, Aspa 5.49. So on paper, Long has this, but anything could happen. And the athletes are off clean. Look at that, flowing up the wall for both athletes. Long Cow hesitates, and Aspa takes victory, 5.5. They were looking, both of them, so flowy through that.
That was looking like such a clean run. I don't even know what went wrong there. I guess we'll have to wait for the replay for that one. But yeah, that meant a lot for Aspa, you can tell.
Yeah, and he looks out towards his coaches who are thumbs up at him there. Well, this is the race. Let's keep an eye on this. So, legs pumping, progressing upwards, and then it's just, he just seemed to sort of, oh, and then the finger, but by that point it had been lost,
Yeah, it's all gone by that point. I think it was, again, it just feet were moving too fast for his hands, wasn't able to keep up.
It seemed like he almost froze there in the middle of the wall.
Yeah, yeah.
Weight shift in the wrong place. That's all it can take, because, I mean, muscle memory in this sport is so key, isn't it?
It's absolutely everything. I mean, like I said, you're not thinking up there. You're just relying on your muscles knowing exactly what they're doing. And yeah, if something goes wrong, even marginally just at the start, that can throw you off the whole way up. And if you're not sort of prepared to cope with that, then that could lead to massive mistakes up the top. And that might have been what we just saw there.
So a shame for him. We move on. The women's next round is coming up. It's the sun setting in the background, as you can see. That is our final race here of this evening to see who will make it into the final and the small final as we near the last races of our competition here in Chamonix. That's our lead wall as well. That will be in action tomorrow for the semi-final and the finals, which will take place in the evening. It's a hot day here today in Chamonix. It's quite a relief that the sun has finally gone away.
Oh, for sure. I think the speed wall, especially in the qualifying round, because it was just so hot, there was a lot of slipping all over the shop there. But yeah, it's nice to be climbing in slightly cooler temperatures.
Well, the camera pans around, showing the flags blowing in the breeze. A few clouds up there in the sky, mainly clear. Getting cooler here in the stadium. And the lights start to turn on, and you can see how packed it is. Thousands of people filling the Place du Mont Blanc. Well, here we go. The athletes are about to be introduced to our audience here. They get presented once more. And this must be a strange moment for them, because they have to stand there, look out, and then maybe for the first time they have to realize who they're climbing in front, because they're always in their zone up to this point.
Absolutely, yeah. Being out and seeing that audience, it can either be hugely motivating or maybe a bit off-putting, depending on the athlete.
Oh, as we look at their faces, we could see perhaps what they're feeling.
Kluska's enjoying it.
Yeah, she is. Leonardo looking serious and focused. Eric Neuer definitely enjoying the hype. Of course he is. So that is our final few who are left. The field has been whittled down to this moment. And these are the last, the fastest here in Chamonix. 4 women, 4 men are left. Interesting, I think Eric Neuer was wearing gloves. I'm trying to keep himself, was he wearing gloves? Maybe he had his hands over his sleeves.
Yes, yeah? He is.
So they are presented, they salute the crowd salute them, and you can see their shadows on the back of the wall, adding to the drama of that. Our big screen here, which is to the left of the speed wall, is showing our audience, so that's why they are going crazy every time the camera turns on them. Big Indonesian presence in the final 4 for the men and women. Big Chinese presence. She's enjoying the moment for sure.
You can tell how much this moment means to all of them.
Yeah, it's special. I mean, look, we don't have that many World Cups throughout the season, and when it comes, especially in Chamonix, I mean, do you see this on your calendar and think that's the one, you know?
I think I will from now on.
Well, yeah, your first time,
It's my first time here, but I want to come back now.
We have a World Cup rescheduled for Edinburgh, so that'll be interesting.
That's going to be exciting. It's going to be a bit of a cooler one than here.
Yeah,
temperature-wise, people need to be wrapping up warm for that.
Yeah, that'll be the beginning of September. We have more competitions to come here this season. Briançon in a couple of weeks. We go south from here. And then we head off to Jakarta for the speed round, and that's going to be super fascinating to see. And I know the Indonesia team are excited to have us over in Jakarta.
Of course. I think the hype that they get, if that's the one where the sub-5 happens, that's going to be a magical moment, that would be a magical moment.
And look, this sub-5 seconds that we've been talking about, because from what I've been talking when I speak to athletes, it's definitely possible, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, you've seen how close this guy's been getting today, right? Like, and no run is perfect. Every, a millisecond's such a short amount of time. Any tiny adjustment can make that difference, even just reaction time at this point.
Yeah, and the women's record, 6.53, Alexandra Miroslav. And again, I mean, how close are we getting under 6 seconds for women? They're a little further away in terms of close to that 6 second compared to the 5 second, but everyone seems to have really stepped it up in the last couple of years.
Absolutely. I think the Olympics has been a really big motivator for that. Having speed as its own discipline in the Olympics is pushing everyone to really up their standards for this. And then as soon as one person goes faster, then that pushes everyone else to go faster.
Well, the athletes leave the stage, and we get one more look at the final couple of races here. That is the last 4 women. Desek Madre, Lee Jong-deng, Rajya Sabia, and Alexandra Kluska. The last 4 remaining. And they will be competing for that final and small final place. Speed is such a dramatic sport anyway. This little pause we have before this final race, it really adds to the tension, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I can only imagine what the athletes are thinking back behind the wall right now.
Gold medals on the line here, podium places. And having your name written into the Chamonix record books is a very unique experience. So they'll be up against each other from the top and the bottom of the order. Well, we're seconds away, ladies and gentlemen, from our final race here. The stage in the background of your screen lit up by that blue light over the stage. It's nice to see other athletes from the other disciplines here as well. It's become a really nice focus point, this speed final.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's nice seeing some of the lead athletes coming out to support the speed, and equally seeing the speed athletes come out to support the lead. It feels sort of like, getting that community feeling across the disciplines.
Absolutely. I think one of the good things about the Olympics is it helped create that feeling, that mutual respect between people, between athletes. Well, Lee Jong-deng versus Desek Madre is our next race here. Look at those PBs close together. Desek Madre looking in good form, but Lee Jong-deng will also be gunning for victory here. So, ready? We wait for the buzzer. Both off clean. Desek Madre explodes off the start, but Lee Jong-deng comes back at her, and it's going to be close all the way. Oh, and finally a pause at the top from Madre. Let Lee Jong-deng through.
Yeah, she takes it with a 6-7-1. That's another personal best for her, and still, game face is on.
Yeah, that was a great race. Very close. Desek Madre had the better start. She couldn't get it. So she will go into the small final. So she does get another chance. And look at this.
It's top section from Lee Jong-deng. It's just incredibly powerful.
You're right. It's that last part of the wall for the Chinese athletes where they seem to be stealing a step on the other athletes at the moment.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, looking at pretty much all these races, it's neck and neck up until that halfway point. And then it's just who can carry through their momentum the best through to that top.
Yeah, and fitness, it's one of those things in endurance. We talk more about in league competitions because they tend to be on the wall for longer. And yet, it's like a 100-meter race. You've got to have that fitness throughout the whole of the race, not just the start.
It's such a short amount of time, but it's such a huge amount of power to use up in that short amount of time. And you've got to have enough in the bank to keep going through the top.
Well, hopefully they've fueled up this morning, had their Weetabix, because Natalia, Alexandra Kluska versus
had their rocket fuel.
Yes, rocket fuel. Crowd respectfully silent in the background. The athletes screw that foot into the starting pad, trying to get any friction they can. Well, they're both off clean. Alexandra Kluska is ahead at the moment. Rajya is coming back at her. There was a little pause from Alexandra there, but she does keep it together. And Alexandra will move forward into the finals.
And another personal best for Alexandra there. She is on fire today.
Well, when you've got it, you've got it. And she has it here tonight in Chamonix. Wonderful race from her.
Oh, here's the race again.
Yeah, let's watch a replay of it. Because Alexandra did have a little moment down low, but she came back, found the power, driving those feet through the holds. 6.8 on the clock, and immediately that kick in celebration that we know her for.
Don't think she can quite believe it.
No, well, she is guaranteed a silver or gold now. Well, we turn our attention to the men. Well, let's check out the results first of all. So in the final, Li Juandeng versus Alexandra Kluska for the gold and silver. In a small final, Rajya Sabia will face Desak Madre for bronze or fourth. It's going to be an exciting end to the women's final, and we've still got the men's to come. And for the men, well, Vedrik Leonardo, he's up next, and he'll be on stage in a couple of seconds to take on Jim Baolong, and then Eric Neuer versus Aspa for the final position in that final. So, exciting stuff here. So, Matthew, once you leave Chamonix, what's your plan for the next couple of weeks in terms of training, or are you having a bit of time off?
Well, no, I've still got a couple of competitions left of the season, so I'm heading off straight away to Innsbruck to train for a couple of days. It's weird training in between competitions. You're not sure how hard to go, how much to rest. We're still finding the balance on that. And then European Cup in Salina after that.
So here we go. The lights dim, the spotlight picks out the curtain in the background. Vedrik Leonardo versus Jim Baolong will be up first of all. And there they are. Imagine there.
The curtain.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the tension that's got to be going on in that back room. Oh. So, Coldplay rings out as we look at our arch that allows the spectators into the stadium. I don't think I've ever quite seen it as packed as this. Last year it was restricted because of COVID, or this year everyone is here enjoying the party, as you can see. Out in force here this evening. A few beers being had, I think. And why not, as we celebrate this moment with them out in the arena. And it's been a great atmosphere for the last couple of days.
It's not often you get to see the fastest athletes in the world battling out against each other. It's a spectacle to behold.
Yeah, it's a bit of a privilege. And here we are. So this is to get into a finals position. This is what it means. Silver and gold at stake. Vedrik Leonardo, Jim Baolong. And you'd think it would be Vedrik's here, again, on paper, but Jim Bao has so much strength, so much power within him, so...
See, those personal bests are tight.
There's nothing to call from it, is there?
No.
This is going to be good. Pray for no full starts or falls. So our athletes look upwards. 15 metres stand between them and a finals place. And Jim Baolong is off to a hugely quick start, but hang on, this could be really quick here. Watch the clock, 5.05 from Jim Baolong. Oh, I thought that could have been a world record there for a second.
It was looking so close.
So Jinbao Long progresses, and Vedri will have to try to fight it out for a bronze. Slightly disappointed, but both men giving it everything. Look at the power from both men. Again, it's the flowingness of their climbing that really stands up between these two. It looks faster.
Absolutely, and just look at the hip line from Jinbao there. It's just straight up the middle. Yeah. Except for this top section, which they seem to make work so well. But those moves, trust me, they are huge.
So when you talk about your hips, you don't want to be moving from side to side?
You don't want to be moving side to side, absolutely. You want to be keeping them as straight up the middle of the wall as possible. Because if you think about it, that's where your center of gravity is. You want to be moving the shortest distance possible. So the straighter you keep your hips, the shorter distance you go. So in theory, the faster you go.
Sounds simple, but of course, far harder to do in practice, especially at that speeds.
Much easier said than done.
So Eric Neuer takes a long time preparing himself. Seeing him in the finals will it'll make the crowd react, put it like that. And Aspa, well, who were looking to put a stop to Eric's party. Eric has come close to being knocked out twice. He's come back twice.
PB's neck and neck.
Oh, look, yeah, you're right. Exactly the same time. Well, they're off clean. Oh, and a big step from Aspa, and Eric Neuer slightly takes his foot off the pedal. 5.5, say he takes his foot off the pedal, 5.5 for him. And he is through into the final. So Eric Neuer's fairy tale in Chamonix continues.
Oh, what a competition for him. And there's the emotion there.
Awesome from Eric as he celebrates with the crowd. So he will progress through. And immediately you can see that sportsmanship between the athletes. And that is something, because when it's a race, it's, you know, you versus another athlete. It's hard not to let it get personal, or it must be. I would struggle.
I don't know. I think we still got that sort of climbing community instilled in us. Like, for example, when Kiramau hit his world record in the qualifying yesterday, every single athlete was ready to high five and ready to say, incredible job. There's just so much mutual respect among the athletes here. And yeah. That's what makes the sport different, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's very special. And if you're joining us for the first time, this is speed climbing, and it is wonderful. And Eric Neuer, yeah, now he can relax a little bit. He has made it through a huge qualifying process all the way through tonight's finals, and he gets to the final of the final in a couple of minutes. Well, let's have a look at the confirmation of that, shall we? So Jinbao Long will take on Eric Neuer, and Vedrik Leonardo versus Aspa for the small final, for the bronze and 4th place. And then Matthew, we can go away and breathe a little bit, because I don't think I stop.
I think I need to lie down after this.
Yeah. Well, that is our final and small final coming up in seconds. Well, that's what we are waiting for here. And the tension gets ramped up a little bit as we look once again at our audience.
Night's starting to fall on Chamonix.
Yeah, and the audience are looking up at that view, which is a Mont Blanc in its, well, glorious best, illuminated by the moon, and that moon picking out the glaciers, the cliffs. How many stories have taken place on those mountains?
You can feel it in the venue. Everyone's just desperate to see some good climbing action, certainly delivering tonight.
It really is, yeah. Well, we have 2 more races. 2 more races to come before we decide our podium places, and an unfortunate 4th place finish for one of the athletes. So here we go, the last of the races here this evening. The crowd are ready for it. I hope you are, if you're watching this at home as well. IFSC World Cup comes to its conclusion in the next couple of minutes. We will discover who will take that gold medal here tonight and be forever in the history books of the Chamonix competition. That is the view they have to climb under. Mont Blanc, 4,810 meters high. Last peak in the background. Hundreds, thousands of people climb it every year. It's a dangerous mountain. And it's the backdrop for one of the most exciting competitions of the year. We came from Innsbruck to Villars, over the border in Switzerland, and now we're back in France. And it's time for the women to compete here. Ling Duanden versus Alexandra Kluska for the final. Oh, sorry, a small final first, apologies. So Desert Madre versus Rajya Sabia up next. So this is for a bronze medal or nothing, or for 4th place.
This is one of the most harsh races in the competition.
You either walk away with this, with a podium place, that medal, or you have to go away and reassess and do it all over again. So Desert Madre on the left, Rajya on the right.
Worse at their teammates.
Oh, exactly, yeah. I mean, at least you get to celebrate with them, but harsh stuff here, so who will be able to keep it together?
Ready?
Well, no full starts, which is good to see, and Desert Madre is ahead at the moment, but Rajya is coming back at her, pushing her all the way, and it might be Rajya. No, it's not. Desert Madre stops the clock, and she will walk away with the bronze medal. 3rd place for her.
2 excellent times for both of them as well. But a slightly slower start on the right-hand side, but really pushed through on that top section again, as was so classic of the Indonesian team right now.
So Desert Madre takes the victory and the bronze medal. It's nice
it's a camaraderie.
To see. Exactly, yeah. I mean, they train together. They spend a lot of time together, especially touring around Europe. Let's watch a replay of that. Desert had to work, though.
Really did, yeah. Every step of the way there. Yeah, so you're pulling ahead slightly here. No, there's slightly different top sequences as well. That's interesting, especially considering they're on the same team. I guess that must mean they might train individually. So generally, if you're training together, then you might do similar beta as the people you're training with. So
Desert will win that one.
Nice big smile on the way down.
Well, let's have the men's small final now.
Bedrick Leonardo and Aspar.
Again, 2 teammates facing off. And Bedrick came very close to winning his last race. He will be wanting a little bit of revenge here tonight.
Now, I wonder if this race, they're gunning for that bronze medal or if they're just gunning for the best time possible.
Well, this is it. I mean, this could be a time to get that world record back. So keep an eye on the clock towards the top. Remember, 5 seconds dead is that world record. And Bedrick could be the man to have it. 5.2 is best.
Ready?
Both men are clean. Aspar was off to a better start, but then Bedrick slips and Aspar will run away with it for the bronze medal. He takes it. No world records, sadly.
Oh. Hey, there's still big finals to go.
That is true, yeah, you're right. 2 more races remaining here this evening, the women and the men. The final. And Bedrick with that slip down low. We'll see a replay. It's a shame. The auto belays are disconnected. The volunteers take them, and the athletes leave the stage. And we can see the next race waiting in the wings. Well, let's have a look. Yeah, let's see where it went wrong.
So fast through that start section. That's about as clean as you can get. And then just here, right foot just didn't quite lift it up high enough. Didn't land it on top of the hold, and then that's it over.
5.5.
Almost a little bit of a slip from Aspar on that top section as well, but obviously at that point it's all over.
Well, that's it. Bronze medal is decided. It's time for the gold and silver. So here we go, the women's final here this evening. Ling Duandeng versus Alexandra Kluska, and you can see by the big down jackets of Li Juan how chilly it is getting here in the stadium. She takes it off now, ready to go. So this is for gold and silver. Can Alexandra Kluska continue her wonderful performance? She is smiling and enjoying every second of this. Li Duandeng on the left, as she has been throughout the competition. No emotion showing on her face, just focus from the Chinese athlete.
Of course, Li Juan going for a back-to-back gold. It's taking the gold in Villars.
Alexandra Kluska explodes off the starting pad, and she's pushing Li Juandeng all the way. It might be hers here. Final jump. Oh, how close is that?
6.55.
6.55. So Li Juandeng takes her second gold medal in a row, taking victory here this evening. Matthew, what a race.
She's pushing close to that world record. Alexandra Miroslav, better watch out.
Yeah, where is Alexandra Miroslav? She's coming for you. Alexandra Kluska, though, I mean, that is a step up for her in terms of performance as well.
Absolutely, yeah. She'll be happy with that. Times and positions all through the day. It's been excellent.
Well, that was a start as our camera pans up to catch the action. Athletes running up the wall. Remember, it's easy to forget. This is 15 meters. It's overhanging by 5 degrees. It takes most people a long time to climb a wall that long.
Absolutely, and here they are making it look easy. There you go, smiles on the way down for Kluska.
Well, it's still a silver medal for her.
Absolutely, you can't complain with that.
Li Juandeng takes her second in a row. Well, here we go, final race of this evening. Jinbao Long versus Eric Neuer. They're always guaranteed a silver medal. Who can take gold here this evening? On paper, you'd say Eric is the underdog here, but he's come back twice already.
He's been the underdog all the way throughout, but he's showing no signs of slowing down.
Jinbao Long chalks up and gets ready. That's his PB down on the left. Eric Neuer's 5.49. You've got to be in it to win it, though. And both athletes have made it this far, beating all odds to get here.
Ready?
Both off clean. Jinbao Long is starting to pull ahead, but Eric is pushing him. A little hesitation from Eric. 5.119 from Jinbao Long. Jinbao takes the gold here this evening. China walks away with another gold medal. Eric Neuer, well, silver for him, and I don't think he'll be too disappointed by that.
He certainly doesn't look it. But
yeah, Jinbao
Long acknowledging the crowd.
Finally, a smile from him, and it goes at that moment. He always is in his own head, and then once it's all over, the smile comes out. And Eric Neuer as well celebrates with the crowd. A silver medal from him, brilliant.
Oh, what a run from both of them.
So let's watch that again. Jinbao powering his way towards the top. Always had it in control, it seemed.
Absolutely. Nah, it just looked so smooth through that. Didn't really seem to be much of a doubt through there.
And Eric
Neuer will be happy with that.
He will
Big smile.
He is such a character on the scene. You see Eric Neuer walking around your local speed ball, go and have a chat, because he will try to encourage you to start speed climbing.
He's one of the best advocates for the sport we have.
Yeah, he really is. Well, fantastic performances all round here tonight. We wait now for the flower ceremony, and then Matthew, my co-commentator here, will go and interview the winners. The women are introduced onto the stage. Our top 3 here tonight. Fastest women here in Chamonix. Li Juandeng takes victory. Alexandra Kluska, silver medal, and Desak Madre with the bronze here tonight. They leave the stage. And Matthew, I'll say goodbye to you. You go and talk to the athletes, and then come back and have a chat when you've finished, okay? Thank you, man.
Right.
Well, we wait now for the men to enter the stage, to be presented to our audience. Jinbao, what a gold medal from him. Eric Neuer in silver medal. Aspa with the bronze this evening. The silhouettes dance on the stage, as they should. The party kicks off here in Chamonix. And here come the men, the top 3. The podium finishes. Eric Neuer leads the way, the silver medalist. Jinbao Long and Aspa. Hands raised as they celebrate with the audience. No one's leaving the arena here. Everyone wanting to cheer on these speed demons here tonight. Jin Baolong in the middle. So the men leave, and in a minute we'll go to the interviews to hear from their gold medalists. What a race here tonight. So I hope you'll agree with me. Fantastic performances all around. Let's look at those results one more time, shall we? Jin Baolong, Eric Neuer, Asper. And we're just waiting for the interviews. We get to check out the winners again. Tomorrow we have the semi-finals and the finals taking place. The final day and evening of entertainment for you tonight. The big lead wall next to the speed wall would have been on the edge of your screen all this evening. 26 athletes competing tomorrow in the morning, 10 a.m. Central European time, trying to get just 8 final places. Savage cuts coming up for them. Let's look at the speed results for the women. Linjua Deng takes gold, Alexandra Kluska silver medal, and Desak Madre with the bronze. And we will go to the interviews in a sec, find out what the athletes are feeling, because I can only imagine the emotions that they're going through after all that build-up, all the training, and just the sheer tension that exists here in Chamonix. Well, let's go to the interview backstage and have a chat to the winners, shall we?
How does it feel to be back-to-back World Cup winner?
今天那个非常，首先祝贺你取得今天的冠军，然后你现在有什么感受？跟大家谈一谈。
谢谢，现在很开心。
Yeah, so I'm now really happy. Yeah.
Excellent. Congratulations, you are the winner of Chamonix tonight.
祝贺你，你今天是这个夏慕尼的冠军，祝贺你。
谢谢。
So thanks so much. Yeah.
Awesome stuff from her. A little overwhelmed, I think, by the moment. And it is a big one, winning Chamonix. Villars is a popular one for the speed climbers as well. They see that as a very important competition, but you have to say there is something about this arena that's very different, unique for everyone. And we get to really watch two unbelievable performances here this evening. Hardly any full starts and slips, which is good to see in terms of falling off the wall anyway. It's always a shame when the athlete doesn't get to show their full prowess out on the wall. And it is a game of small margins, as we know, as we've seen. One thing that makes speed so special is the amount of work that goes into just that one focus. That route hasn't changed, it's the same. Personally, I think that's quite a good thing. You wouldn't change 100 meters by making it 101, would you? You wouldn't put a kink in it. Why would you change a speed wall? It's just designed for pure power and speed, as the name suggests. I hope we're going to hear from the men in a sec. Well, let's go to the men's winner, shall we? Find out what he has to say.
Today. How does it feel? How did that last race feel? What was going through your head?
那个龙金宝，今天祝贺你取得今天的男子冠军。你能现在跟大家谈一谈你最后的现在的感受吗
？Thank you， 谢谢各位。可能的话自己也是，尽力吧。完了，跟队友我们一起去，一起往前冲。
So first, I want to thanks for all the people to support me to get the champion. So this is my hard work and hard training's best result. So thanks to all.
Excellent. Congratulations. You are the World Cup winner tonight. And a huge congratulations to Team China. What does it mean to you to have such a successful team here tonight?
Okay, so on behalf of our Chinese climbing team, we really want to appreciate the organizer give us the well-organized and beautiful environment and everything you have done for us. So for China, we have still have the long way to go, but we will hard training and give the best result in the next station. Yes, thank you.
Huge congratulations to you all.
再次谢谢你。
哦，谢谢，感谢，Thank you。
好，谢谢大家。OK，Thank you。
Well, lovely to hear from Team China. Still a lot of work to do, they say. Well, it's not going badly with those 2 gold medals here this evening. Ominous for the rest of the field, the fact that they still have more to come, still more left in the tank. Well, we're waiting for the podium now. Athletes will get the official medals received to them. Everyone's just running around, organising everything, make sure everything's in place before we welcome our athletes back onto the stage. IFSC emblem on the wall. Speed wall lit up. Those red lights that are on down the bottom, that is the lights that warn us if there's a full start. They go red when a full start is registered, green when it's all okay to go. And the auto belay is attached as we just wait for the awarding ceremony now. So let's have another look at some of the we're going to watch some of the replays from the earlier action. So our lights dancing on the stage. A couple of silhouettes still being picked up. And the crowd is waiting for the athletes to be called onto the stage to receive the medals. They were, of course, introduced to the audience earlier. What we call a flower ceremony, but the award ceremony itself is seconds away. It's built up just underneath the speed wall on the right. My co-commentator Matthew Fall is joining me here back in the commentary box.
We can't keep you away.
We can't keep you away indeed. Matthew, it was a great question you asked there, because Team China, and they said they've got more to come. There's a lot of work to do, which is fairly terrifying for everyone else.
I know, more to come. What does that mean? Sub 4?
Just pure dominance of the season, perhaps, because I mean, currently they're walking away with the golds. And Villars, they won 5 out of 6 medals.
Don't know how much more you can get, really.
Exactly. What else do they want? The Chinese team.
We'll find out.
Well, they're working hard behind the scenes, of course, and it is good to have them back. They were away due to COVID and restrictions, but they're back. And boy, are they back. Well, the curtain is twitching. We're about to see the athletes presented to us. There are the medals and the flowers, of course. That's our podium here. And Matthew, this moment, I mean, obviously this is a moment you'd love to have yourself, and you're going for, aren't you?
Absolutely. It's what I'm dreaming of. It's what we're all dreaming of, really, isn't it? This is the moment we're looking for, to be standing on that podium after all this hard work. It's where you can really enjoy the moment, soak it up.
Well, Ling Guan Deng takes victory. She's in the middle. Alexandra Kluska, silver medal. And then Desek Madre on the right-hand side. As our dignitaries get introduced to the audience. Yeah, so yeah, everyone is going for this moment, but Team GB is coming up and coming, isn't it? You guys are pushing for that in the future.
No, absolutely. Villars was the first time that they sent GB athletes out just to compete in speed, and then, like I said, Chamonix coming forward, and then moving through to the Edinburgh World Cup is going to be an excellent one for that. Yeah, that's exciting to see where we're going to go.
Well, hopefully you'll end up one day on the podium.
A lot of work to get there, but
it'll come, and Desek Madre gets her bronze medal and the flowers. And a nice check as well, why not? So Desek with the bronze medal here. She came through in the small final to win. Alexandra Kluska jumps up high, arms pumping. It meant a huge amount to her, and she takes silver here. One of two sisters competing in tonight's final. Her sister Natalia Kluska didn't make it through, but Alexandra will walk away.
What a performance from her today. It's just been incredible to see how much her time has just come down in just one competition. I think it's a sign of more to come.
It is, I think you're right. She's got more to give as well. Li Juandeng, she will be introduced as the Chamonix 2022 winner, a gold medal for her.
Well, hats off to a stellar performance all around.
So focused throughout. She takes victory here tonight.
Maybe that's the secret. Just don't show emotion until that very last minute.
Exactly. In your bubble all the way through. Li Juandeng, what a victory for her. Well, as the music thunders through the stadium, we now pause to listen to the national anthems. Well, the women's podium is done. They stand on the top spot together, share that moment. It's good to see.
Memories that will last, I'm sure.
Yeah, the world's press is down at the front. They will be in high demand, those athletes. And they leave the stage as we get things reset for the men. So yes, you were telling me, Matthew, so Team GB coming through now, and obviously climbing is an up-and-coming sport, and it's a case of balancing resources, money, time at this point in order to push everyone to the next stage.
No, absolutely, absolutely. I think it really comes from the athletes first, you know. You've got to be psyched to train speed, and then you get to that certain point where you're ready to start pushing into this World Cup stage. And we've got a pretty decent youth team coming up. I know there's a few people competing at the European Youth Cup in Augsburg this weekend. So yeah, give it a few years, and you might see some of us on that podium.
Looking forward to it. Matthew Fall, a GB athlete, didn't make it through to tonight's finals, but I'm sure you'll agree with me. Some brilliant insights in the commentary box here for speed. And with speed being a separate discipline as well for the Olympics, it just gives everyone a chance to shine at something they are specifically good at.
Yeah, absolutely. They don't have to balance their time focusing on anything else, focusing on the lead of the boulder. They can just focus solely on the speed, because like the physicality of it's so different from leader boulder.
Yeah, there's a size difference for sure. You can see it when a speed climber stands next to a lead climber.
Absolutely. I'd love to see Reza on a lead wall.
I would too, to be fair. We'll set it up. Well, here come the men. The spotlight is fully focused on that tent. There it is.
Oh, there they are.
Just poke it out. They're being told when to go. So the medals will come out first, then the athletes. Here we go, men's podium. And out they come. Jim Baolong, Eric Neuer, and Aspa Aspa. They are our three medalists. I don't think that smile will ever leave Eric's face.
Oh, what a character.
So 1, 2, 3. They are the fastest in Chamonix. Carter is our next Speed World Cup. We're flying across the world to see who wins that next competition.
I reckon that's going to be a fast one.
I think it is too. I am very much looking forward to it. Well, Aspar takes the bronze medal. Great work from him tonight. Flowers in the check. It's funny, his fingers being strapped up like that. You kind of think finger injuries are more of a bouldering or a lead thing, but I guess speed, same.
I think that's probably more of a skin thing, to be honest.
Okay, so he's protecting it.
Yeah. Because those holds, they're big, but they're rough. So like, and if you're pulling your maximum force through that, your skin goes through a lot of pain through there.
Eric Neuer hypes the crowd, and they respond.
Loving every second.
Well, Eric gets a silver to add to his collection. Eric Neuer gets the flowers, the check and the medal. And finally, our winner here tonight, Jin Baolong, with the gold medal for Team China, who have more to come. So wait and see.
Hold on to your hat.
Yeah. Victory for him. And now, of course, we will wait for the national anthem of China to celebrate his performance here this evening. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this evening. Great from the athletes, and we will see you soon. Thank you to my co-commentator, Matthew Fall, for joining me in the commentary box.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me.
We will see you tomorrow for the lead semi-finals and finals. Have a lovely evening wherever you are. And we will be back tomorrow for more IFSC action.